Yo, family, what is good? Welcome back again to another live stream. I apologize for not being present yesterday. Something came up. I made an announcement in my free Discord server, but we're back. Hopefully, gonna stick to this whole daily live stream thing. And we have got some very, very big news for today. Honestly, as the title suggests and states, are we about to witness a crypto and more importantly a Kaspa reversal from here? The long and short of it is we don't know yet. But there are a lot of signs that are reassuring and give evidence or support the theories that we've been talking about in this community for months and months now. Stuff I've mentioned to my VIP community with documentation for nearly a year now. The markets are, of course, not in the best conditions. They're doing well today, but we have just seen a massive liquidation. Oil's down a lot today. Gold is continuing its downtrend, down 5%. Silver down 8%. We're seeing a lot of volatility in the metals and the oil. Oil being down is actually good. It might indicate that the uncertainty around the US and Iran is de-escalating a little bit, which is good. The dollar is continuing to rise, which started because of Kevin Hassan. Him being nominated the new Fed chair caused the dollar to rise, and we're seeing that momentum continue. But today's reasoning is not so much for the Fed, or it's not the sole reason. The reason why comes down to a recent macro report that we're going to get into. I posted this to my VIP community and also reposted this to my free server as well. The biggest macro report we have seen in quite some time, which is the ISM manufacturing. We'll get into that. Other market analysis, other crypto updates, Kaspa updates, and you name it. As always, family, if you enjoy the content, the daily live streams, and want to see more, leave a like on the stream, share this with your friends, subscribe for more, turn on that post notification bell, and you can learn much more in the free Discord server and a lot more, of course, in the VIP community where we are actively participating in trades right now in anticipation on what's happening in the markets. And we also have delved deeper into where we see what sectors are going to be first movers or perform the best when, in my belief, of course, not financial advice, when these markets recover, which I still very much believe is going to happen this year in 2026. To start off with, looking at Bitcoin right now, currently valued at 78,600. We are seeing a bit of resistance right now at this level of, this level here, this level of resistance right here. We did see Bitcoin earlier tap around 74,700 or $75,000 before now performing quite well off the back of the recent reports and data. We have got two other very big updates we're still awaiting for. I did make this poll on my Twitter account last night, just asking whether we predict that the government will reopen tomorrow, to which we can see is a very, only 50 votes, but even then still a very split verdict. And I think this is very indicative of how investors as a whole perceive these markets. It's just uncertainty. 50-50 pretty much think that the government's going to open today or it won't. And we have more pain ahead. We haven't got the update just yet, but before the day ends, we should have an update on whether the Congress, whether Dems and Republicans will come together to vote for the reopening and sign the bill to reopen the government, or will this pain continue? And the verdict, of course, will impact the market trajectory. So you can, if you don't even hear the announcement in live time, you can look at the markets. You see the markets start turning red, means the government's probably still shut down. It starts going even more green, governments are likely reopening. Of course, we'll give updates whenever we can, as soon as we can. But also interestingly today, currently taking place to my knowledge right now, the White House is meeting with crypto and banks on stablecoin yield, and that's going to start at 1 p.m. ET. I believe that is around this time right now. I know the times are different between the UK and EST is about 5 hours, so we're 5 hours ahead. I'm not sure the difference between UK and ET per se, but it should be soon if not already happening. We have heard some updates in regard to apparently there is concerns regarding the Genius Act. The bill has already been filed and approved and signed by Donald Trump, which is not ideal, of course. We'll see how it goes from here, but there are apparently some prosecutors who are sounding the alarm on the Genius Act, saying that it could provide legal cover for potential elements of fraud, which is not good to see. They accuse Tether and Circle of being incentivized not to fully cooperate with law enforcement by freezing funds selectively while still profiting. Funds stolen in or converted to USDT will never be frozen, seized, or returned. We'll see what developments come off the back of that. Of course, I understand the elements of safety that come with that. If we do end up getting the bill, the Genius Act bill, reworked, this would probably cause some headwinds again, because by all intents and purposes, we are under the impression that this stablecoin bill is done with, it's dealt with, it will be put into law, and we'll see more clarity. This does start bringing some uncertainty back, but until we see it escalate more so, it's a headline news, nothing to be too worried about at this moment in time. But we do have the belief and hope that we'll see some positive developments regarding the stablecoin yield, which comes under the Clarity Act, not the Genius Act. And then, of course, the government opening today. We'll find out more, hopefully very, very soon. Now, we have got some other very, very big updates as well. And then we'll get into the market deep dive. And then we'll get into some Kaspa updates as well, of course. We've got this post here, which also has been a big reason as to why oil has come back today. Trump has now said that a trade deal between the United States and India has been reached, where the US are going to lower their 25% tariffs to 18%, and India are going to remove their tariffs alongside, there was another deal I believe that was made as well in favor of the United States by India, which is good news. So we're seeing positive geopolitical tensions, and to reiterate for those who are watching right now, markets very much right now are driven by geopolitics. Macro is still important, that's why we still cover it as frequently as we do, especially in the VIP community. But right now, geopolitics impacts the markets a hell of a lot more. So seeing this trade deal being finalized between India, which is one of the biggest, nations, biggest financial economies as well, India and the United States, is positive, and also could be playing another factor, because the more we see tariffs, the more we see geopolitical tensions, the more there's an incentive for oil to start rallying in the way there's an outbreak of war, be it a trade war that could, God forbid, escalate into actual physical warfare. Oil was down right now, which is a good thing after seeing a rallying up to about 66. That's all very good news to see as well. So to make that short recap then, government shutdown hopefully will end today. If not, we'll talk about that in the Discord server in real time. We'll hopefully hear some positive developments regarding the Clarity Act, the market structure bill, and discussions happening today. If not, we'll find out tomorrow morning, I'm sure. We have seen a bit of FUD around the already approved Genius Act. We'll have to wait and see for this headline news if it ends up developing more so as well. But then we have got a trade deal formed between India and the United States, which is good. And then we've got the actual headline for me. The reason why the title of the stream is what it is, are we about to see a crypto and Kaspa reversal? To make the answer long and short before we delve into it deeper, the answer for me right now is yes, but not yet. And we're going to delve into deeper what I mean by that. So we can see from this clip here from Mike Alfred, you are warned, it starts now. This here is a picture of the US ISM Manufacturing Purchasing Managers Index, PMI. This is one of the indicators that I've kind of mentioned in passing on this channel. I've mentioned it a lot more to my VIP community, but it is a crucial indicator. And this is the ISM Manufacturing PMI chart. I made a whole rundown in my VIP community, which you can see right here. And I also forward this to the general community, which I am on occasion now posting some of the VIP sources in this community. So if you're a part of the community, you'll get some snippets of, what we do in the VIP, so some alpha breakdowns. And of course, being a part of the VIP, you get even more breakdowns, some more insight we also posted in there, which you can already see posted quite a few already today. And also what it can mean, what this report here actually means for our holdings and what we're looking at. So this is what that something says. I'm going to read it on my monitor while you see this chart here. So the ISM manufacturing, as we can see, came in at 52.6, which is huge for two main reasons. One because we saw the ISM correcting for quite some time. And it's been below 50 for a very long time as well. The ISM being below 50 means that the US economy is contracting, it's getting smaller, if you will. There's not growth happening. When it's above 50, that means there is growth. We have seen in the past almost 4 years now, because this here is the 50 line. That's the 50 line. So in the past 4 years, since October 2022, we have not seen the ISM manufacturing above 50. On 3 occasions we have done, here and two instances here. But they've been momentary blips before coming straight back below 50, meaning that the US economy throughout all this time has been contracting. Now, this new print, this 52.6, is so significant because, for one, we're above 50 again, meaning the US economy is expanding. And the reason for why is because, think about, throughout this whole period here, we were still under quantitative easing, where the Fed were taking money out of the balance sheet. They ended that in December 2025. So this here is the first ISM report we have received properly where QT has ended. We have no more QT. We're not in QE just yet, but we're starting to pivot into that. So we have now seen the ISM first real print of data coming out after the end of QT explode from 47, or as I highlighted in the last report here, was 48.5. 48.5 of the last print to then 52.6. So not just it exploded leaps and bounds, also it is the highest print we have seen since 2022, around August time. So this is the biggest print we've seen in almost 4 years. Now, if I'm to be really nitpicky, the ISM manufacturing in the United States, according to my research and what I've told to my VIPs, they actually amount for about 20% of the kind of GDP in America. What actually should matter more so is the services data, which is going to be released on Wednesday, because the services actually amounts to 80% of the GDP in America. So that actually matters more so, but investors tend to actually pay more mind to this. And this in itself is still good. We're now seeing proof that ISM is expanding, the US economy is expanding. What we want to see for this to be confirmed, if you will, is A, the ISM to remain above 50, or better case scenario, the next data coming out next month to continue increasing. The ISM is a forward-looking indicator. This tells you how the economy should be months in the future, 3, 4, whatever months it may be. It's not, there's no exact time frame as such, but it lets you know that in the next few months we should be actually starting to feel and experience this expanding economy. This is what the investors, the institutions feel, and that money eventually sort of trickle down into the general population. So with the ISM exploding the way it did today, if you see next month being as good, if it comes back a bit, wouldn't be ideal, of course. If it was above 50, we could still, be a bit optimistic still. As long as we don't see it come back below 50, that would be quite a big FUD stirrer. But this is also reassuring, and I think the fact that QT has ended is the key reason for why it exploded in the manner it did. Last cycle, we saw it come down as low as 42, then it went up to about 43, and then it did one massive print, as you can see here. It's a big print from 43 up to 52 before then started seeing that bull run. This is all happening in July 2020. And then we saw the peak in 2021. You saw the first peak in Bitcoin before you saw the double top a few months after that. But that started it. So we already seen our first major print. And you could argue maybe that this first major print here is actually just a bigger reflection of what this is here. And then next month we hopefully see an even bigger print. Of course, we'll have to wait and see. But this is a forward-looking indicator letting us know that in the next few months, the economy should start to expand, and we should start seeing that sentiment shift to risk on, and therefore crypto altcoins should start performing soon enough as well. Now, as always, don't be emotional, be logical. forward-looking indicators does not mean we won't see any more short-term pain. In fact, I still very much believe we can see more short-term pain. Geopolitical tensions are still very much relevant and on the rise. While India-US today is great, we haven't got resolution in Greenland yet. Iran and US are still uncertain. What's happening right now in the US government, that still considers geopolitical tensions, Republicans versus Democrats, if you want to put it that way. Those aren't ideal either. So while these are still relevant headlines, this can still impact the short-term sentiment. But with the new Fed chair soon to be coming in, hopefully one that will be more aligned with Trump in cutting rates, that means that ISM could start to hopefully continue its expansion and we can start seeing a major run from here, which is good news. So if I have to give an analysis on right now my sentiment in this market, we're seeing a bit of relief today, which is good. Hopefully the government shutdown also end today, which means we'll see probably a continued run. I'm not convinced we'll see an absolute just bull print from here. My sentiment still stands. We need to surpass, we need to get into this region here. Ideally still surpass 116 for me to be confirmed that we're going to another bull leg up and a new all-time high is coming. I still very much believe the possibility we see Bitcoin return to 100k and then shoot back down, and then we find a bottom and go from there. I'm not convinced the bottom's being printed just yet. Of course, it's not financial advice. Do your own research, at your own discretion, but I think we could still see some more pain depending on the incoming development, geopolitical tensions, macro reports. Because speaking of macro reports, because of this ongoing government shutdown that hasn't been completely resolved as yet, just the weekend, we had a government shutdown for a weekend, and the Bureau of Labour have confirmed that the jobs report, the non-farm payroll, is not coming out this Friday, which is a key statistic the Fed used to help in trying to navigate the economy, whether they're going to cut rates, hike rates, wherever it may be. It's not been cancelled, just delayed. So as long as it's not cancelled, that's fine. But the fact that it's being delayed in itself is not ideal. So we want to see the government shutdown come to an end. We'll see some more bullish nature, and then we'll see how the markets behave from there on out. But I'm not being emotional. We're still thinking logically and understand that there's still some more potential pain in the short term. But we're using this information now, these catalysts, to prepare ourselves, whether it be taking trades, like we've got some trades currently ready to be put in as we speak, in anticipation we can still see a short in the market. And also, based on this huge ISM macro report here, we now know if this does continue in this trend, we start seeing the ISM going up higher, come around end of Q2 or kind of Q2-ish time, maybe going towards Q3, we'll start seeing risk on start to flourish again. And then, based on our institutional research, which we went through that in yesterday's executive roundtable, we have a number of assets that we already know are, or sectors, if you will, that are in high demand, that will probably be the first movers or the biggest movers as liquidity starts coming back to the market, which in my belief, Kaspa could very well be one of them. Given that, to give a little snippet, Coinbase confirmed that one of the big things that institutions are really prioritizing right now is privacy, which is why Canton's doing the way it's doing right now, and Monero and Zcash did what it did. But one key element for privacy, which institutions prioritize right now, is ZKP, Zero Knowledge Proofs, which is exactly what Kaspa Core are trying to build right now, alongside VProgs, alongside Confidence, and Dagnite, and much more. So this is reassuring, knowing that Kaspa's core team are building what is in high demand for institutions, and of course Kaspa, being the architecture it is, could really catch on. I mentioned this post, I reposted this post that we spoke about a few days back, where Visa and MasterCard have claimed that stablecoins are not ready, and they talk about how stablecoins lack product market fit for everyday payments. Ultimately, they're testing blockchain rails, because right now they see crypto as mostly trading and not a consumer threat. So to clarify what they're talking about here, Visa and MasterCard are basically testing more blockchain protocols out there right now, because what they've tested so far, they lack product market fit for everyday payments. They what we have right now, what they've utilized, well, I'm not sure what they've tested. I imagine it's probably Polygon, Solana, Ethereum. Maybe they've tested Tron and Sui as well. I'm not entirely sure, but what they've tested so far is not viable for everyday payments. So for me, I'm like, well, what is still up and coming, not had any time to really prove itself, and has stablecoins coming on very, very soon? Well, that is Kaspa. With Igra Labs and Casplex, stablecoins are quickly approaching as well. I made this post here, and I'll probably replay this video in a short moment. But we heard from Kaspador that stablecoins will be coming to Casplex before the end of Q1 2026, and we saw a post. We saw that post. I think I've got it here. Yeah, a post here where you can see the address here, USDC. And we also showcased a clip where apparently Casplex's layer 2 will be able to bridge to Binance Smart Chain and Ethereum, which is huge. And then we also got this one here where Igra Labs confirmed they're partnering alongside Hyperlane to help bring USDC.E, USDT.E, so these bridged Ethereum, bridged Tether, and wrapped Ethereum to Igra at mainnet launch, which is also extremely huge. So Ashton also confirmed the same thing. We'll see stablecoins in Q1 2026 on Igra, which is huge news. And we got a whole rundown here on what that means from Ashton, and we'll get to that in a very short moment and why this is big news. And ultimately, talking about this particular post here, people who are hating on Kaspa, I completely get it. The price is terrible, and we do have probably more downside coming through. But with the way the economy is starting to show some strength again, which is reassuring, Super Typo says a very great post, which I completely agree with. I'm not worried. Development activity is at an all-time high. Public progress on multiple fronts, including Covenants, VPROX, and Dagnite. Igra's highly advanced layer 2 is getting close to release as well. This is very, very huge news. Development is what manifests to adoption and price discovery, not just hopium. As documentation I've showcased time and time again, right now, and I'm going to go back to it, this post we got from Dow Jones. Hype, crypto speculation won't repeat in 2026. Market now demand accountability, proof, evidence, and demonstrations that crypto serves real economic needs. Hype and FOMO's not a thing anymore. If you still very much believe on that, then you're going to get caught out in this market. Caught out in rug pulls, pump and dump schemes, because institutions who drive the markets don't care for FOMO. They don't. They want to have infrastructure that works. And that's why I still think Kaspa is in a very strong spot right now. I'll make a bit of a recap, go through all of that in a moment. Before I do, welcome back everybody to the channel. We had a Dimitar first here, brother. Welcome back. My man has done very, very well. We dropped significantly, time to recover. I hope so. I hope so, but I'm not so convinced just yet. I do honestly believe we have some more downside in the immediate short term still possible. Of course, I'll keep doing my research and analysis, and I'll be providing updates whenever I can. Of course, in much more real time to the VIP community, so they are ahead of the game. Of course, we already profited so far in this downtrend, and we're hoping to find some more gains coming through soon with the market sentiment right now. We've got some traders going through in the anticipation we still see some potential short opportunities coming in, but I think most of the trades are going to come through once we get clarity on the government shutdown as well. I have some friends who bought on top and have some questions. Well, they're all more than welcome to join the community and just ask it away. Of course, whether it be myself or other people will answer or help give our own thoughts, not financial advice, but our own thoughts on what's happening right now. As I mentioned in regards to the ISM, this is extremely big news in regards to where the economy should be going, as ISM is a forward-looking indicator. Welcome back, Ghostly Bro. You're doing very, very well, my man. Been a minute. And yeah, 3 cents was a shame, of course, seeing that for Kaspa. We actually did also momentarily drop into the 2 cents range, as we can see here. If we go a little bit closer, just dropped into 2 cent range, but we are holding it on right now, which is good enough. And again, we could see some more downside, because right now we're seeing a bit of a relief right now, but by no means is the economy stable. We've still got a lot of uncertainty, but we'll see where we go from here soon enough. When Bitcoin was 30k, Kaspa was 5 cents. Yeah, but we're in a completely different market right now, Dimitar. I think comparison, especially when it comes to price, is it's a niche thing. You know, while I talk about price and market trajectory and price action and that stuff, because it's important to analyze that sort of stuff, I try not to compare projects in price, because you could easily make arguments for and against. Like, yeah, Bitcoin with 30k and Kaspa with 5 cents. Now Bitcoin is 78k and Kaspa 3 cents. But then equally, think about what happened to like Solana last cycle, where Solana, everyone called it dead, where they came back over 90% right here. Made a peak at 250, came back 95% in value. Everyone called it dead at around $8. And now look at it. And it made a new all-time high. Price is not a metric to determine how good a project is. If you determine your project value on price alone, then unfortunately, in my personal belief, you're going to struggle in this market forever. Because price, while important, and I'm not saying it's not important, of course, as my research has suggested, and as I've even showcased people here, institutional sentiment is price volatility and regulatory implications dominate the public discourse. But these are surface distractions. That's literally what they're saying. Price is important, of course, but you've got to understand what makes the price move, be it market makers, be it developments, be it geopolitical tensions and macroeconomic conditions. That's what moves the price more so than just... The price isn't what it is because of the news. At least some people do have it that way, and that's perfectly fine if that's how you perceive it. But for me, I don't see the price is... I don't see as the news is this because of the price. It's the price is this because of the news. That's why I always do fundamental and macro research before determining anything about a project. I can look at the price I can go onto a project right now and look at let's take out Litecoin, for example, right? I can look at Litecoin, I can look at its all-time chart, and I can see, okay, it's currently up 1,300% in all time. I can see it's got a 4.61 billion market cap. I see the volume's quite high. I can see its total supply, circulating supply, all these things that are quite important. And then you can see the exchanges. So just on the actual foundation, or not even the foundation, just the surface level of looking at Litecoin, I can determine that, yeah, it's a strong project and it'll probably do well. But to really understand the value of a project, if you really want to do investments, you need to understand much more important things. For example, when you're looking at this, Litecoin hold distribution on the Binance Smart Chain, the top 10 holders own 66.5, almost 2/3 of Litecoin's total supply is held by 10 people, 10 addresses. And it's actually, no, it's 10 addresses. That could be more than one person holding multiple wallets. That's not a reassuring sign, in my belief. Now, of course, that's not going to stop it from going up. It just means there's a higher possibility of being a rug pull. So you've got to do your own research and trade at your own discretion. But these are things you've got to do that, and you've got to do more research into what Litecoin actually is, what their partnerships are. These are sort of like information deep dives that I have documentation in my VIP, which provides that information, deep dives on the likes of AVAX, on Ondu, on Quant, on Tau and Render and other assets that we are looking into that we think can do well. Understanding what the project is, what its goal is, what its mission is, what the rumors and negative stuff about it is, because that's also important to note. The tokenomics about the project, the partnerships even that they have as well, because they also are quite important. And then, of course, we analyze all of that stuff, keep active in the community to keep understanding what's going on, and then we decide whether it's worth our investments. This stuff you should be doing to limit and create a better risk to reward potential for yourself when you're investing. That's what I do when I'm holding projects. I got onto Kaspa a little bit because I heard it was I heard the whole Bitcoin 2.0, fastest proof of work, all those key buzzwords that I was caught up a little bit in for that. I didn't get heavily into Kaspa until I listened to Shy, heard all the deep dives, all their building, saw it come to life, 10 BPS, Casplex Layer 2 on board, KRI now building enterprise projects, all this sort of stuff that have been really impactful. That's when I started really amplifying and building up my investments. So I knew more so what's going on, and I believed in what's being built. You can find out all that sort of stuff, look into the project we're looking into as well, in preparation for hopefully the ISM to continue expanding, and therefore these assets we believe can be the first movers based on documentation we looked into, like Coinbase's. You can find out all that sort of stuff in the VIP community. You got 7-day free trials. You also got a 1-month free trial you can sign up to through our affiliate exchange BYDFI. You follow the steps in our free Discord server and you go to the Get VIP Access channel here. Follow the steps right here. You can get out and message me after you do so. I can double check to see if you follow the steps accordingly, and you can get a 1 month free trial to everything we post there: documentation, trade alerts, the weekly roundtables, and all the reports we put in there as well. Of course, all links are down below in the description. I also, while I haven't publicized that, I'm willing to also provide one-to-one sessions should you need it as well. So you want to find out more, use the free trial for there. Links are down below in the description, and also all information available in the free Discord server, also down below in the description. Welcome back, Double D, bro. You're doing very, very well. We don't know, but I want to buy more. Yeah, pretty much the same condition right now. I'm thinking I want to buy more, but we could see more pullbacks right now. I'm not getting ahead of myself just yet. Sometimes doing nothing is the best course of action. So that's currently my stance while I'm still waiting for the government shutdown verdict and this market structure meeting verdict as well. That'll also be impactful. And then I'll put some trades in preparation for what's happening. We have got 2 trades in courtesy of Lambo, some big short trades that possibly will fill in as a hedge in the instance that we do start seeing a pullback in the market, a small bounce and then pullback that we're talking about is very possible. And if we don't, then we'll instantly flip and we'll just put some long trades in. Welcome back, Blaze. You're doing very, very well. Was that the last dip? As we've kind of gone through a long ramble on that. There's no confirmation of such as yet. Maybe. We can hope, of course. We can really hope. Mr. Miles first. It has been a minute since I've missed your first messages. Hope you're doing very well, brother. Real life, family, and work has kept me really busy the past few months, but I live. Great to have you back, my man. Hope you're doing very, very well. I can already see all the jokes you've been putting in the chat, so now I can get back to being bullied now by Mr. Miles and Kryptoni. I love it. Kryptoni didn't want to do it without you, Mr. Miles. You should feel happy about that. Welcome back, my man, who's doing very, very well. Nice to have your videos. It's all good, man. I'll keep putting some stuff out. I need to make more videos as opposed to just live streams. I'll be trying to do more of that. I've been doing at least 2 a week right now. I could try and ramp up to maybe 4, if not even a bit more. I'll see how I can do. Leaning back in the chair again, quiet. I apologize. I'm too comfortable right now. There you go. I spilled QC's tea and beans. His wrath has been relentless and unyielding. I've been in hiding. There you go. There you go. Welcome back. Why bro, you're doing very, very well. And new to Gaza. How you doing very well, my man? I do see that Silkworm put some message in the chat right now, which I'm assuming one of my mods, Miles or Kryptoni, had remove the chats, which is fair enough, but I was kind of half reading them, just want to see what they're saying. Silkworm says, fools read the charts, clowns. I mean, no, that's not incorrect. Kaspa triggered bear in 2024 December, called for 10 cents non-believed, 5 cents non-believed. Now I'm saying it's going to 0.05. It will go below 1 cent. What kind of idiot? You are fooling innocents. And if you can't trade, don't make videos and fool others. If I can't trade, don't make evidence and fool others. Well, what's that then? That trade was put in to my community. You can see right here, the timestamp. We put in a trade for Kaspa. The VIP community we have, we put in a trade, a short trade on Kaspa at 0.0405. We go closer here, we can have a look. 0.0405. It was right here, the exact top call of this day on Monday. Put a short trade on Kaspa, and it filled in right here. Of course, Kaspa came down a lot more, but we're not getting greedy. We're taking our gains. We took a 200+% profit in that short trade in Kaspa. I understand the price is bad, brother, but you don't have to, get angry about it and then make false claims about it either. I understand why the comments were removed from the mods, but I think it's also worth addressing that as well. Either way, I think it's worth addressing that at all, because completely. I don't think I can show it, I can't showcase it, but is Kaspa going to go lower? It's possible. I have been very transparent about that. I'm not fooling anybody in saying that. I'm not saying Kaspa's going to $10. I've not been saying that. I don't give price predictions in that regard because I don't think that's a responsible thing to do. I'm not a financial advisor, of course, but I know the power that I do hold as being someone who's a content creator in Kaspa or in this space. I'm not going to give type predictions in that regard. And I do very much accept Kaspa can go lower, and we're going to continue analysing the market and making predictions and in preparation for what's going to happen, and we'll continue to make our gains that we'll be making, be it in Kaspa or be it with Bitcoin, whatever we are shorting or longing, the gains we'll be making. We can't really have an 80+% win rate in our VIP. The last few trades we've been doing. And that's thankfully because the trades that didn't pan out well, we managed to still exit at break even. So we didn't lose money, so therefore they're null and voided. We only had 1 or 2 losses last month. And we had a quiet month last month in January because of a whole government shutdown and the whole FUD. We just took some time off from trading. But we still had a very, very good month, last 2 months even. And we're putting some more trades now to see if it comes through. We could see more headwinds, most definitely. Kappa could go lower, most definitely. But chart analysis, reading a chart is not a foolish thing to do. Solely reading the chart and relying solely on TA, in my belief, is a foolish thing to do. But if you combine chart research with fundamental and macro and geopolitical updates, understanding what moves the markets, then you'll become a much better trader and investor. That's my personal belief. That's why I've got 80% success rate right now when trading. The traders in my community have been doing very, very well because they understand the risks and rewards that come with it, and they understand that just reading the chart's not everything. No, I'm not gonna throw shade at those who do just read the market, because some of them do very well, and I have hats off to them. But for me, I called the short in Kaspa, or at least my trader, I should say, called the short in Kaspa, but I'd also called it, but my trader actually put in the trade and I followed along with it because I'd anticipated the government shutdown looming, and it came through, and I understood what that did for the markets, and we saw how Kaspa came back down. Reading the chart alone is a foolish thing. Combining it with other research is far from foolish. It's what makes you successful. That's why I've made the gains I've made in this. I've already made more gains than I've lost. Despite crypto's correction in 2026 so far in the first month, I still made more money. So, again, you can find out more on the VIP. You can learn long, trade along with us, get the institutional deep dive analysis, the portfolios, all this sort of stuff. You can learn a lot more on the VIP, stay up to date, and stay ahead of the market trends. Of course, there are free trials still available as well you can check out, so you can at least get the test to see if the VIP is something that you think is worth for you, and then you can learn more. If not, by all means, go continue doing as you do. But you want to find out more, learn how to get ahead of the market, then check out the VIP. Once more, links are down below in the description. Now, before we get into more of the lovely comments, Mr. Miles going on his rampage again, I can see. I'll get to you, brother, don't worry. I've gone through the macro, I've gone through the market. I think now it's time we get into some Kaspa updates as well. So we've gone through this stuff already. We've already gone through this a little bit as well, why we believe the next few years could be really, really big, especially if we get this RSM expanding and all this crypto momentum flooding back into it again. In the document that we covered on Wednesday, the Coinbase 2026 market outlook, the key question they also posed was once more end of the 4-year cycle for Bitcoin, but also whether we are in a .com bubble pop era, so we're in 1999 era where the bubble popped and then everything collapsed, or are we in 1996, which is the .com kind of run up. We saw from that 3-year period, the .com, the internet belief just started ramping up, of course, for 3+ years, and then it popped. Which period are we in? They currently believe we're in the latter. We're in the run up stage. And if that's the case, then right now, Kaspa is in the strongest position of any crypto project, in my belief, given that you've got Dagnut coming out soon, VProx, Covenants, IGRA, 100 per second, ZKP. These next 2 years will be unforgettable in crypto history. Remember what you signed up for. If you're anxious about the price, it means you base your thesis off price speculation and not first principle, and also you're overexposed. Understand how the markets move. Understand what helps a project gain value in the future. It's these developments, what's being built. You had this post here from this individual. No disrespect to you at all. I don't have any problem with those who FUD on Kaspa. That's why I don't care if you FUD on Kaspa. You're perfectly in your right to FUD anything you want to. I just want there to be some form of thesis or logical understanding as to why you're FUDding it, as opposed to just being bad price. Individual here, Patrick P says Kaspa nodes down 30% from 1,000 to 634. IGRA transaction 0. Well, of course, because it's not live yet. That's what I mean. IGRA transaction 0 is not mainnet yet, so of course. no Dagnut updates for 60 days or more. That's also complete. I don't know when this post actually came out, to be honest, because this is completely false. We had a Dagnut update like 2 or 3 days ago. Jonathan Polinsky has gone AWOL. Total capital transactions, including bot activity, is less than 100 per hour. I haven't fact checked that, but sure. Wallet 1 is beginning to their dump. Well, we can look at that actually. We have seen some outflows from Wallet 1, in all honesty. But if I'm not mistaken, shout out to Greg, my mod in the Discord community. I think he mentioned that Wallet 1 bought more today. And there you have it. 7.5 million capital bought up today. So, once more, we move. Besides that, all good news for Kaspa. Probably last one to sell Kaspa above 3 cents in 2026. So, I understand people fighting on projects they don't like right now that's not performing well. But also, if you're going to do so with facts and actual, real truth behind it. The nose being down, I haven't fact checked that, so I don't know if that's true or not. If it isn't, fair enough, I won't touch on that. Transaction for IGRA being 0, well, of course, it's not mainnet yet. No Dagnite, also false. The updates came out literally a few days ago. We spoke about that. And also, Blinky's gone AWOL. Don't know how he's perceived that, but sure, fine. The total transactions, also not checked the total transactions, but without there being layer 2s up, if it is that low, then I'm not surprised either, especially when the market is down the way it is. Wallet 1 began their dump. They've dumped a little bit, or I say dump, they realize that there have been some outflows, but they're still seeing accumulation happening. And then we can talk about all the other big stuff that's been coming through the Kaspa as well. And as Super Type I highlighted here, yeah, I'm not worried. And I'm not worried either because development is at all-time high. At a very, very big stage. We're going to play this video out right now. If you aren't aware, me and Jer, aka Crypto Pumps, we are now, I guess, without a better choice of words, members, or an extension of the blockchain banter community that Chris and Levendi had created on X. They created it on X. They do a show every Monday at 9 p.m. UK time. That's going to be in about an hour and 20 minutes from now. They'll be going live. And then you also have the American or US time zone one, which is done by Cara and Juan. I'm not sure. I think that goes live on a Wednesday. Which I think is like 2-3 a.m. UK time, so I can never tune into that one. And then me and Pumps have expanded into the YouTube community, not on X, and we do blockchain banter every single Tuesday at 9 p.m. UK time. Which, if you look, we have done 3 already, and we have 1 more that's coming out tomorrow. We need to actually make an announcement for that. Very late from us. But last week we had Wolfie and Seb, where Wolfie gave Seb showcased cash maps, and Wolfie gave a big deep dive about the listing elements one. I made a video on that quite recently as well. We then also had, before that, Roy O'Neill and Invi from KRI. They gave some extremely big deep dive analysis of what's happening right now, which is fantastic to see. And we've seen a lot of others with KRI recently as well, which has been very exciting for Kaspa. We then also saw our very first episode, which was Kaspador and Ashton, representatives, if you will, or extensions of IGRA Labs through Ashton and Casplex through Kaspador. And this is one clip that we got from there, which was Kaspador confirming, and then Ashton confirming after that, we're going to be stablecoins on both their respective platforms, therefore on Kaspa, before the end of this first quarter, so in the next 2 months from now. So listen very closely here, once more, to this snippet as we build more into what we're talking about now at this part of the stream.
But stables.
We had a lot of meetings with regard with the stablecoin issuers. This is work in progress. This is I see daily updates from our colleagues testing and doing different stuff. Again, I'm not going to be very specific about this, but I would say yes, Q1 2026 should definitely have stables on Kaspa.
Oh my God!
Via Casplex, and again, I cannot say if it's going to be native or bridged because I don't want to break any NDA, right? So Jay, yeah, this is work in progress, and this is going to be released in terms of updates to everyone as soon as we can and are allowed to. And of course, once this is being signed off and agreed, you will see marketing campaigns, you will see promotion from both sides, the normal stuff when a new partnership is being agreed and signed and approved by both parties.
We talked a little bit about stablecoins, and I was in a meeting today where we're bringing together 4 or 5 different projects to help support bridging any tokens, really, but stables included, onto IGRA, so that hopefully we can see those live at mainnet launch in just a few weeks.
So you heard it there, and I have to stop it right here because just got a funny sense of humor. This is a great clip of Randy from South Park, but it is a bit inappropriate and will probably get me demonetized from YouTube, so I'm not going to show that. But you heard it there. Capital confirming that we'll be getting stablecoins. Not sure if it's bridged or native yet, but I think it's going to be bridged. Stablecoins, because they both highlighted that how native is very, very expensive. We're going to get stablecoins through Casplex in the next 2 months before the end of first quarter, and the same thing for IGRA as well. And since then, we got an announcement about less than a week ago from Kaspa showcasing USDC, how it's being worked on right now and works beautifully apparently with Casplex Layer 2. And there's also a post. Let me see if I can find it. It might take me a moment. Oh yeah, here it is. It's an image that I haven't posted yet. I should probably do so, but you can see this is an image that we got, or I got at least, which showcases Casplex Layer 2, the USDC contract with Ethereum and BSC, Binance Smart Chain. So that is further evidence there that Casplex will be, the USDC that Casplex is going to be onboarding will be able to be bridged between Ethereum and Binance, which is pretty cool. Pretty cool news right there. So that's Casplex confirming, as I made the post about here, confirming that he was not lying and stablecoins are coming. And then, to put the icing on the cake, it looks like Ashton also wasn't lying either, because he said that stablecoins were coming to IGRA, and then we got this post here from IGRA Labs saying that the IGRA Association has now signed with Hyperlane alongside core Kaspa ecosystem partners being Cascad, ZellaSwap, Kaspa.com, and KAT, where you'll be seeing USDC.E, USDT.E, and wrapped Ethereum.E coming to IGRA at launch via Hyperlane Bridge. Apparently, Hyperlane connects to over 180 different blockchains, which is pretty big news. And then we have this fantastic rundown on what this means for us and for even the IGRA team, what it means for the community having this announcement here. So, as we can see, first and foremost, there are 2 audiences to address in answering the question on why this is a big deal. What does it mean? Yada, yada, yada. For IGRA users, it means real liquidity, not bot, real liquidity from day one. You'll be able to trade, lend, and provide liquidity using Circle, Tether, and wrapped Ethereum, and more in the short future as well, assets you already know and trust, which is the big element. Knowing and trusting is the big thing. Proof is the big thing. Instead of waiting months for liquidity to slowly accumulate or relying on unproven tokens such as custom stablecoins or white labeled within the ecosystem. So while it's all well and good having native stablecoins built, in Kaspa, it's always an inherent risk if they haven't got a track record. Having these major, tokens, Circle, Tether, and wrapped Ethereum, which are proven, will actually mean that you'll get real liquidity from day one for IGRA users, which is fantastic. Hyperlane, the one they're partnering with, in trouble over 180 different chains, is battle-tested infrastructure, securing billions in total value locked. So you're getting institutional-grade security for bridging assets. No sketchy bridging, no uncertainty about whether your stablecoins are actually backed by anything. Is real, right here in live time. Then for DeFi apps on IGRA, this solves the cold start problem. DEXs launch with trading pairs, lending protocols have collateral asset liquidity pools, can bootstrap instantly. Builders don't have to convince users to trust new stablecoins through risky infrastructure. They can launch with Circle, Tether, wrapped Ethereum, as well as Kaspa, of course, that users already hold and want to use. So if you don't hold a lot of Kaspa right now because you don't think it's worthwhile, not worth your money, which if that is completely fine with you, by all means, you do you. But you don't, you might hold Tether, Circle, stablecoins. I'm holding quite a lot of stablecoins right now myself, actually, because of the market sentiment, and Kaspa, but of course a lot of stables as well. Or wrapped Ethereum, you can just utilize that on IGRA instead. More builders will deploy because liquidity is significantly easier. And one thing that we do know, at least as we've been told from many of the kind of higher members within Kaspa, or just in general, that what these exchanges, what these institutions want to see is proof. We just highlighted that here, proof. From Dow Jones highlighting the proof element again. And part of proof also means that they have proof of liquidity. More builders, you'll have more adoption. If there's proof that this actual transaction taking place, you'll see builders, institutions more coming on board quicker because they see the evidence there that it's working as intended. It's a lot easier to happen, which means more products, more innovation, better UX for everybody, and more adoption. And then for the Kaspa network, those who may not want to use IGRA, but for Kaspa in general, IGRA is a based rollup, meaning there's not a centralized sequencer. Kaspa handles IGRA's transactions ordering. Every transaction on IGRA contributes to Kaspa's security budget because we, IGRA users, pay Kaspa for that service. More adoption on IGRA equals more transactions, equals more revenue flowing to Kaspa miners, equals stronger long-term security for the entire Kaspa network. This partnership brings the potential for billions of liquidity and millions of potential users into the Kaspa ecosystem without Kaspa taking on the complexity, risk, development time for supporting DeFi natively. And without IGRA or Kaspa needing to convince Circle to deploy native COTC, for example, Kaspa can stay focused on what it does best, proof of work security and speed, while IGRA brings programmability and DeFi. So it is just it's just a big deal. You know, if I want to simplify that, it's a very big deal seeing, you know, well-respected, well-trusted, infrastructure-level, institutional-grade platforms bridging, working alongside IGRA, bringing stablecoins, which then circles into this post, wherever I put it, this post here, where Visa and MasterCard are still testing blockchain protocols right now because stablecoins not ready. They see bottlenecking happening quite a lot. They're testing blockchain rails because they evidently see a lot of a lack product marketing fit. They don't see anything that's available on blockchain right now fit for everyday payments. Kaspa could bring that proof of concept. That's the new word I've been talking about a lot recently. POC. You've got proof of stake, proof of work. You also got proof of concept. Kaspa has a proof of work element down, of course. You'll have proof of stake elements through IGRA, I'm sure, on Casplex. But then you have the proof of concept, which is just evidence for externals to see that what they're talking about, what they're showcasing is actually real. Proof of concept is very, very important. You're going to get the proof of concept right now through this. Another news also for important for Kaspa as well. We've seen apparently a new listing on Asta, a new purpose listing for Kaspa, which is up to 75x, which is quite high. 75x leverage is quite high and a very high risk to reward. So of course, if you plan to do that sort of stuff, be very careful, do your own research, trade discretion, and definitely put a stop loss in for that. Definitely, otherwise you're going to get a high chance of getting liquidated right now if you were to do that. But it looks like that's courtesy of the KEF again to EV for letting Asta a perp dex backed by Binance CZ know about Kaspa. So we have got more exposure to Kaspa right now, which can be a reassuring thing as well. And probably also why Kaspa has seen probably a lot more volume than many other projects today. Could be a reason for that. But it's still important to note and good to see. Now, getting back to the questions for a quick moment, Mr. Mars, joking once more, said I'm bouncing my IP off a 30 different diametric proxies with 2 different VPNs and running a spoof GPS signal. It still might not be enough to secure my freedom. QC might still find me. You're in the rules, brother. I know where you're at. You're not yet Wing Hong, but we're looking a bit better today. Hopefully we have the end of the government shutdown confirmed. It might be happening right now, and I'll have to double check after the stream ends, and then we can start moving from there on out. Bitcoin's lowest price prediction was 50-60k. After that, the price will only continue to rise. Others will follow Bitcoin. I have heard similar predictions, Satoshi. The real one? Who knows? I've heard similar predictions. I'm not against that possibility. And in the grand scheme of things, if we do see a pullback that far to 50k, you're looking at a 55% correction. Which, for reference, every other bull to bear cycle has been over an 80, or let's say 70, but even over a 70% correction from all-time high. Go back to last cycle, for example. We saw this, first peak 55% correction, and then the top here, this double top here, 69k, you saw the pullback of 78%. Go back to the cycle before that. Go a little bit closer. You can see the peak that was made here, roughly, and we saw another 85% correction. So we typically see around 80% correction from Bitcoin from bull to bear. So if this is going to be the correction behavior that we expect, the 50k pullback, that's still 55% in the grand scheme of things. That's what we saw last cycle with that kind of first top and sort of double top after that. We could be seeing a repeat of that right here and now potentially. Of course, time will tell. I still think we have more downside in the short term, not to drive FUD, not to give financial advice either, but I think it's possible. But I do very much still believe that this cycle's got a lot more room left in the tank based on the research and insight that I provided to my VIPs. This roundtable that we did yesterday with my VIPs, for me, was a very crystal, we gave a lot of rundowns on the market outlook, what to expect, as well as the institutional breakdown from Coinbase, their 2026 crypto market outlook, which we already went through that kind of almost briefly, but it's a 70 plus page document giving deep insight in regards to their market analysis, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, tokenization, regulations, everything like that. You can read the whole document and get access to it for yourself through the VIP with the links available in there as well, and my own summary that I've put there for what it's talking about. For example, like how apparently 1% of institutions, of the leading banks and money, less than 1%, even under 1%, have actually got involved in crypto yet. Which just means when the sentiment turns to risk on, how much headroom do you have? How much more money can be pumped into this space right now? Because it could be a lot, a hell of a lot, to say the least. You'll find the document and more information in the VIP. My first day back, and I'm guessing I get to lay down the law in the first 15 minutes, pretty much. I escaped, dug my way out using wet beans. I yearned to dampen the soul and use a spoon to dig my way out to freedom. That's yeah, that's a new one. Keith didn't notice the smell because he lives in London, so nothing seems suspicious. Alright, I know London ain't the best, but I don't live in a bad part of London. I wouldn't live in a bad part of London. You know, I live in quite a nice area of London actually. It's kind of it's not central London. Like it's a nice rural part, you know. So it doesn't smell that bad. But actually, I say that bad. It doesn't smell bad at all here where I live. This is when QC will take a deep sigh and question why he never missed me. No, you know what? I actually appreciate you being here. It's been a minute. I've missed it. It makes much as we love talking about all the insight and the market analysis and all the Kaspa news and crypto news. Of course, I'm still trying to make that expansion, which I'm doing slowly. It's nice to put a nice little funny note and spin on things, and people, for whatever reason, seem to like you. So it's good to have you back again, brother. Hopefully you'll be here a bit more, but if you've got stuff going on, I get it. I'm sure you'll be back soon enough, full time, like I'm paying you to do. I do that because I'm not paying you anything. Welcome back, Senor Churv. Yo, blessings, perspective shift. Please try to remember this simple extraordinary fact. There's nothing that is even remotely resembles Kaspa and no competition. The world has no clue. I completely agree. We can't get ahead of ourselves. Don't be emotional, be logical, and understand that what we're holding is also fundamentally very different versus the market. So that impacts your emotional or your decisions or not, but just know what you hold. Welcome back, Buffalo, bro. It's been a minute. You've been very, very well, my man. And yes, he is alive, for better or for worse. Real traders don't tell the markets what to do. They let the markets do, and they go on the trade outcome. Yeah, that's basically also what I was trying to say. And also the statement that he made about, if you can't trade, don't make videos and fool others. I mean, I can, and I proved that. I've got P&Ls and profits in my Discord community where I've showed the profits that I made. And I post all of them. The P&Ls are posted in the VIP, but I don't showcase all the profits because I don't. But there've been profits in the Discord community as well, which you can see, and I show them on stream. We literally spoke about this for the last week in live time about the trade with Kaspa, the short we are taking, and that completely filled out. So, and yeah, your crypto is completely right. Traders don't just tell the market to do something that's going to do that unless you're the insider. They analyze everything. The TA element for me, these moving averages, the RSI, the RSI, the Fib retracement, the moving averages, all the things can be important, and you want to use that, fine, it works for you. I don't use them very often, if at all. I just look at the mark charts and determine where the supports and resistance zones are. And then with that, and then analyze the fundamental news and determine whether it's going to be a good or bad day, or good or bad week potentially, and then set up my trade accordingly. That's all it comes down to it. So with us being the way we're at right now, we could see more downside. If not, we'll see a recovery, and I'll put a long in for Kaspa and the other projects as well that I'm looking into. There's still a good chance we don't go to 0.005 because of the order that block at 0.015. Yeah, there's a lot of people right now who have a big buy order at this bottom we had here as well. You know, people might perceive this to be the absolute bottom, while as a, you know, an unforeseen circumstance, a black swan event, an anomaly, if you will. If we continue seeing more headwinds because the markets are underperforming, then you can see that be the bottom around this 1 cent. So it won't come lower. Of course, time will tell, of course. And then when the markets reverse, given what's being built on Kaspa, we can see a very strong recovery. Welcome back, LB, bro. Been a minute. You're doing very well. Reporting for duty. I would have said hello to go see, I believe. Welcome back, my man. And thank you very much again, Wing Hong. I appreciate you. Wolfie was hilarious. Bitcoin maxis are like what you get. Yeah, I know. Wolfie's a great character. I've had quite a lot of good conversation with him recently. Hopefully we'll hear more from him very soon as well. I also hope he does manage to reach out to Fireblocks and Copper again and get them integrating Kaspa, because that'd be really big for more adoption as well. 50k is over then. Well, the general consensus for many retail would be yes. If you see 50k, Bitcoin will be over. But to reiterate, people said the same thing last cycle. We saw Bitcoin go from, you know, 64k all the way down to 29k or 30k. 55% correction, people said it was over. If you see a similar corrective pattern right now, from 126 down to 50, it's about 60%. Slightly more, but even then, like, we've seen similar pullbacks. I don't think it'll be necessarily be over then. We'll have to wait and see, of course. I'm not absolutely convinced we'll see 50k. Not absolutely convinced. I'm not saying it's impossible though, but I'm still under the impression, unless we see some black swan, or I say black swan, unless we see like a recession confirmed signal or more geopolitical tension or whatever it may be, I don't think this cycle's over. All the research, again, if I get other research that says otherwise, of course I'll let people know. But right now, all my institutional analysis suggests that we still have got more room. Even like for example, Coinbase. I know Coinbase is a crypto exchange, but they've become more than that in the past 1 or 2 years. Connection to BlackRock. Now on the New York Stock Exchange, public. They're the biggest American exchange for one, also very big. And there's another fact about them that I've forgotten. I'm trying to remember what it is now. Oh yeah, they're a crucial part of the market structure bill. The policies that are being implemented right now into America, Coinbase are part of those conversations. They're speaking to policymakers. So what Coinbase says holds a lot more weight than it would have done back in 2021. They're part of the discussions that are shaping the crypto landscape. So they're saying one thing to the enterprise clients, making these reports. I'm going to take it into consideration a lot more than I would have done in the past. Kaspa 2, 0.01 or 1 cent, let's go. Possibly. I'm not convinced it's going there 100%. I'm more so leaning towards a bullish. If I was to give percentages, of course not financial, but I'd say it's about a 30% chance. And that is imperative on certain conditions, like government shutdown. If it continues, then it will increase. If it's averted, then it probably won't increase, you know? If we get more breakouts in the Middle East between America and Iran, then that will also increase. Same thing if it doesn't increase, vice versa. There's so many conditions that we have to meet for us to see Kaspa come back down further. Because Kaspa is unique in regard to architecture, but in regard to just the price and perception from the investors, it's no different than any other asset right now. It's a speculative mid-cap token. If mid-cap, it's not even over 1 billion right now, so it's not even a mid-cap right now, technically speaking. It's small cap. I believe that's how the terminology goes, but it's still perceived as speculative. Until you get the IGRA labs coming out, the stablecoins coming out, it's still going to remain speculative until it has an actual proof of concept. Evidence that it can do what it says to do. Which will coming out this year. And that will change sentiment as well. But if the market continues to see headwinds, Bitcoin sees headwinds, then everything will come back down. Everything right now has been doing terribly besides Canton. It's the only thing that's been doing good recently. And that's also something that I did put in my VIP as well, one of the picks. So I swapped 1,000 XRP to Kaspa. Let's hope I did a good move. Well, let's hope so as well, Aries. Let's hope so as well. XRP, much bigger asset, so its chance of surviving in theory is stronger. But in saying that, Kaspa's ROI potential, I think, is a lot higher as well. In theory, if I was to put XRP could reach, let's just say $10 for argument's sake. If it does reach that, $10 from now, you're looking at what? 7x-ish, give or take. 7x in Kaspa puts it back to all-time highs. I think Kaspa could surpass all-time highs quite comfortably, in my personal belief. Of course, not financial advice. And that's as far as I do for price predictions, just saying Kaspa could surpass all-time highs is as far as I go for that. Max Payne to the upside. Yeah, we probably got some more to go, honestly, but I'm here for it. Got the whole OG gang here today. Yeah, it's been a minute, you know, having everybody here. And truth be told, we get everyone here most of the time. I know it's actually just Mr. Miles. Him turning up made everyone feel like we're back in the days again. That's why I mean, you know, why he takes the mic too much. You know, be back for the first time in months and he's already taken the mic. It's nice to have a little bit of a more chill attitude towards these contents sometimes. With the 4-year cycle being altered, I have no idea what to expect for 2026. Only thing I know is DCA. I mean, that's always not a bad strategy given the nature of crypto and where we're going. Of course, do your own research in that regard and trade in discussion. But yeah, DCA is not a bad strategy if you believe in the future of the space and also what you're holding. And it is being altered significantly. I think it has come to an end. Everything I've looked into says 4 years has come to an end. Hopefully it's approved very, very soon. Hopefully this print here, this ISM metric, is a sign of what's to come in the next few months as we approach into end of Q2 sort of area. We'll have to wait and see though. We'll give more up as time goes on, and of course we'll give even more deep dive analysis reports like these I do in my community. Whoops. Like that, or like I put into my community earlier, this sort of macro update as well. We post that sort of stuff in the VIP. You can check that all out. Links are down below in the description. But that being said, family, that does now conclude today's Kaspa crypto live stream. Once more, if you enjoyed it, please leave a like, share your friends, subscribe for more. If you want to find out more, check out the Discord community, Twitter, follow me on Twitter there as well. And equally, the VIP has a lot more in-depth analysis and deep dives that we post in there frequently, alongside trades, my roundtables, and you know, and everything else going on there as well. You've got free trials, so you can utilize them as well to get a look inside, a look at the people behind the curtains, what we're talking about in there. But that being said, family, have a great day, good evening, good night. Tomorrow will be blockchain banter again. We'll announce our guests tonight or tomorrow, hopefully. Very late announcement, I apologize, but we'll announce it tonight and then we'll announce next ones ahead of time as well. That being said, family, have a great day, good evening, and good night. Love to hear it goes, so keep it up, my man. And I'll see you all in the next one.